Hey Radiant Souls, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Heather. I'm an intuitive artist, author, animal communicator, intuitive counselor, energy healer for pets and people, and I'm on a mission to empower and embolden others to connect with their divine radiant light and honor the sacred connection with all life. One of my favorite ways to do that is through a monthly energy forecast that I share here on YouTube and or wherever else you may be watching this. And it is time for July 2024, which is amazing. I don't know how you have felt about 2024, but for me, it feels like in a lot of ways, I mean, we're already more than halfway through the year, and it feels like it went by in a flash, just in a blink of an eye. And I think it's no surprise to a lot of us that the energy has felt very bumpy and spicy, and there's been some instability in it, both in what we're seeing external to us in the collective and also what we are each walking through. Before we get further into the forecast for this month, I want to say if you are coming to this video and it is not July 2024, maybe it is after that, maybe even a couple of years after that, give it a try anyway, because the messages here may be helpful for you. There may be a reason. There's no coincidence. There may be a reason that you were nudged or prompted to watch this, and the messages don't, expire at the end of the month. There's no expiration date on some of the things that my team of guides will be sharing. So it may be something that can be helpful for you. So I would encourage you to stick around and listen and enjoy and take away what works for you. Discard what doesn't, take what works. That's going to be different for each and every one of us, me included. And I think what's informing a lot of the energy for July is a very physical way in which many of us are experiencing the energy around and within us over the past few weeks. That's been a little bit of a preview of coming attractions, I think, for July. And so as we are walking through July, what I am getting from my team, which, by the way, if you don't know, I work with a team of guides, spirit and multidimensional beings who partner with me and share a broader perspective. They would say it's not a better perspective or the right perspective, but it's just they have a different point of view than we do, being in the game, so to speak. And they are devoted and compassionate and passionate about sharing what they can from their perspective to help all of us out. Well, what I'm getting from them is that it's a time for, and it's interesting, they were showing me rolling up your sleeves, and I was like, do you mean literally? Because I didn't do that with my little jacket today. But it's a time for a new level of intensity to the personal work that we're doing. So I'll leave it there and let them come in with the channeling, and I'll come back at the end, and I want to share some of my thoughts about what the messages are that they're going to share with you. And we'll look at the art for the month, which, if you don't know, I also channel an art download and share a version of that for free. And you can find it in the link in my description box below. And this month there is a totem animal or an animal ambassador whose energy can help guide us or give us some more information about the energy. And there is a crystal or a gemstone as well. And each of those has their own consciousness, and they want to contribute to the larger messages and the larger conversation as well. So let me jump out of the way to channel my guides. If you have not witnessed that before, I'm sure many of you have. I kind of ride in the back seat, so to speak, and my team of guides will use my physicality, my voice, my mannerisms, the memories that I have, the way that I might picture things in my physical brain, my human brain, and they use that to share messages with you. So I'm present, but I raise my frequency higher. They bring theirs down a little bit. We kind of meet in the middle and deliver the messages to you. So let's jump into that, because I'm getting a little antsy, and that can happen when I feel their frequencies coming in. So I will see you on the other side of that. Enjoy the messages. Hello, bright and beautiful beings. We are beyond delighted to share with you today, for we feel that the upcoming time period that you would classify as a month is one of much evolution and revolution for those who choose to use it. It is a time of building. It is a time of aligning. It is a time of carving out from within. And we use that phrase not lightly, for it is not a light time for many of you. Now, we use the word light in the meaning of density. So it can feel like a heavier time. It can feel like your steps are slowed as opposed to fun, fast, that kind of light. But the light, being the beauty and the light of all creation, is always around. It is inherent. It is within each of you. But when we say it is a slower time, that does not mean it is a darker time. It means it is a time where you can utilize the gravity that you feel within and around you to build, to carve, to create that which is what you desire in this world. We would highlight for many of you at this time that perhaps you've taken a bit of a back seat. It's interesting that the channel used the reference of sitting in the back seat of a car. Many of you have, not always, but somewhat recently, put yourselves back there. Things are in motion. I will put it on, you may say, autopilot. I will take on a little less. I will step back. I will cool my jets. And that is fine. That is you understanding your energy and riding the waves. But as you are coming back online with an intention and an attention toward building and creating and dreaming a landscape for yourself, you may feel that it is not as easy as you thought it would be to pick things back up and move forward. And that is because so many of you on your planet at this time are experiencing a great charge of energy. There is a heaviness to the energy, and please do not read into that means bad or dark. It is a tool for you to build your resistance and your resilience. So many of you have had literal messages to slow down, metaphorical messages to slow down, a feeling that if you were to move forward full steam ahead, you couldn't. You would hit a roadblock. You would not be able to move forward. And we say, do not take frustration from that. This is a time for you to go within, to breathe and to be, and to itemize within yourself those qualities that need to be refined within you. This is a time of refinement. This is a sacred time of reflection in that way. And when we say refinement, we mean so many of you have done the beautiful and sacred work of the self over the past few months, few years, maybe a lifetime for some of you. All of those calibrations have been beautiful and necessary. There is a new version of you that will be required in the months and years to come. And it is time to start building that version of you upon the platform that you've already erected for yourself. So what within you can be, we would say, reinforced? What within you can be strengthened? What within you can be cast aside? What no longer serves you in moving toward your preferred vision of the world? It is critical in this time that you look at where you are investing your intention and your attention and to remove it from those things that you do not wish to see. What you witness, you reinforce. What you laugh at, what you find joy in, what you mock, what you criticize, what you spend energy on grows. So be very mindful. And that does not mean you ignore the world around you, but you take a neutral observer perspective to those things that you don't wish to see. And that for many of you is a lot in your world, for systems are changing, crumbling, restructuring. So if there is a system that you do not want to see continue in its current presentation of energy, stop complaining about the current presentation of energy, because that is an investment and a reinforcement in the same, in the as is. Instead, focus on another solution. We see energetically, many of you at this time are able to metaphorically see around corners. You're able to receive more inspiration and more clarity on how things could look for you. And we would say what is also important in this time is to pay attention to your personal landscape. What within your sphere of control, your circle of influence, you may say, can you tweak? Can you adjust? Can you calibrate? Doesn't mean you're unplugging from the rest of the world and not being a contributor. You are all sacred creators of the divine future. But in this period of time, your building blocks, if you say, are right in front of you. And in doing that, you are, in fact, serving the frequency and the progress of all. So looking within to see what can be reactivated, what passions can be ignited again. The word for the month is catalyze. What can you start? What chemical reaction within your own beautiful energy, your own beautiful life, what can you start? What ball can you start rolling down a hill that will then gain momentum? It's not about having the answers. It's not about knowing the exact direction or location. It is about the spark of creation, honoring that within yourself and carrying that divine light forward. We thank you for your time on this beautiful day. Be blessed, dear ones, until we meet again. Okay, what did you think? I know that the word that I was given for the month to talk about some more after that channeling was catalyze. And some of the messages that they were sharing with me prior to the channeling, because I don't always get the full kind of message that comes through when it needs to come through for the benefit of all of us together. But they were really playing around with the word and the resonance and the sound of the word catalyze, that it is almost a synergy or a blend of realize, catapult, categorize. And so in some way, we're adding each of those elements in to say, what can I categorize as no longer worthy of my attention? And the vibe I get is not to say that from a place of judgment at all, but just to say that from that's not for me anymore. That doesn't resonate with me. That doesn't match my intended outcome or desire of what I want to see in the world. And that's okay. And let those things fall away. And the act of doing that catapults us to our next level. Many of us are really walking through the densities of energetic metamorphosis. And that can feel quite profound for a lot of us. It can feel, you may hear it sometimes referred to as ascension symptoms. And I'm not sure I'm a fan of that categorization of it or that descriptor, but I think it can be increased thirst, increased fatigue, headaches, just feeling a little more out of sorts than you normally would. And I think they brought up in the channeling, or I said it before, I don't remember, where I stopped and they came in. But the idea of I just can't even. I can't make progress on this thing that I thought I had momentum for, and it felt like it was going great, and now it's just there. And I really feel, so many of us are feeling the call to slow down. Part of that is that we are being realigned. We are allowing for shifts in our own energy. And it is also that the timing, it's kind of like the way I'm being shown is if you are playing baseball and getting a pitch over the plate, there is the timing of your swing. If you swing too early, you strike out. If you swing at the wrong time. It's a foul ball. Like it's very precise, that timing, and it's not only up to you as the person at bat. So if we think of us creating the global world, the collective world, and personal landscapes that we want to see for ourselves as we move forward, it isn't all about our timing. And that's part of our larger lesson, is to learn the surrender and to learn to, they're showing me now, learn to read the signs. Like if you're the pitcher and you're looking at the catcher behind the person at bat, where they do the signals of, what kind of pitch should you be throwing right now. And now I'm spiraling into a whole Bull Durham movie scene, which I love that movie. So that's not unpleasant. And thank you for going on that little journey with me in my mind. But I think you understand the larger metaphor that they're trying to say. It isn't something that we can hold on to so tightly that we fully control it. And we may feel like we want to, particularly when we're looking at our own landscape. I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z by a certain period of time. Sometimes we need to let that go. That doesn't mean you don't dream the big dreams, doesn't mean you don't set the goals, but you allow for this fluidity of timing that feels a little different in our physical world right now because of the shifting spiciness of the energy. So I hope that makes sense in the way they're saying. And then the other thing, when we think of catapult being kind of part of that word soup that was leading up to Catalyze, when you're catapulting over something or beyond something, there's that energy of crouching down first and really like gathering the energetic resources. And that's what July feels like. It feels like toward the end of the month, things will move very, very quickly for many of us. But for the first 2.5 to 3 weeks, it is stagnant and slow, but almost like a battery recharging, kind of having an accumulation and buildup of potential kinetic power for ourselves. I'm just looking at some of the notes that I wrote down when I was preparing for this. The other image that they shared with me, and I think it speaks to the part of the channeling where they said really paying attention to where you're investing your energy and your attention, which is a common theme that my team of guides bring up anyway. But the way that they showed it to me before I came on here to talk to you was back in the day. We don't do it so much anymore. But back in the day, those of you who can remember channel surfing, where there would be, hundreds and hundreds of channels, and you can just flip through and you kind of get into this zone where you're not even really paying attention to what's coming up to make it an adequate selection for yourself. You just get in like the repetitive cycling nature to make sure we're not doing that. Because in doing that, we're still investing energy in all those things. So not specific to channels or things that you're watching, programming, although programming in a larger sense perhaps, but broadcast programming. But more paying attention to, are your thoughts doing that? Are you kind of channel surfing through your thoughts? Are you channel surfing through the events in the world? And if you are, to make sure you're not investing too much energy as you're doing that, and to just redirect and bring yourself back to what's important for me right now. What can I build for myself? What can I catalyze? What can I invest in energetically for me? Because that will then serve the larger picture and solve for some of those other things, even though we may not see the who, the how, the where, the why, the what, and the when. It happens when we calibrate our frequencies to that. So let's take a look at the art that came through for the month. It's very, in itself, it's spicy. It's a little explosive. This is the energetic frequency of the word catalyze for the month of July 2024. Let me know what you see in the art. There was a lot that went into this, and there's layers and layers and layers of shape and pattern and geometry and color in this one. And I just always like to hear what you all think, so let me know. The crystal or gemstone consciousness that wants to contribute and just kind of give us a different way to look at the messaging is citrine. So really about sunshine and happiness and light, but the power and the potential of the sun. And it's probably no coincidence too. I think there's a lot of solar flare activity going on in the world too. So that power and that passion, but the fact that it may not be sustainable and therefore that need to pause and kind of rest and feel stagnant. But citrine is a very uplifting and supporting stone. And if you would like some support as you're walking through or working through July 2024, may be helpful to get some citrine, or you don't even need to get it physically. You can ask to tap into the consciousness of that particular gemstone. And then the animal consciousness that wants to come through and support is leopard for a couple of reasons. Again, personal empowerment, really a beautiful, sleek animal that also is keenly aware of timing. And I think that's no coincidence that that's the animal consciousness that's coming through this month. But then also playing in the shadow comfortably. So that speaks then again to that stagnation and the timing. And is it the right time to come out and pounce on something, or should I hold back? And when I hold back, that's still powerful and empowering for me because I'm just reading the timing in the right way for me. So that's about all I have for this month. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments what you're all seeing, sensing, walking through out there in the world, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.